How are we? How has the weekend been? Welcome to your Monday, to the Aussie crew, and to the legendary crew on this side of the world. Happy Sunday. I hope you're having a beautiful weekend, although it is coming to a close. It is a crappy day here in Vancouver. It's been raining all weekend, but you know what? I'm excited about the Aussie trip that's got coming up. So guys, if you're getting into this podcast, I want to know about it in the comments. We're going to be starting Monday with some fire in this podcast, talking a little bit about self-doubt. And I do think that there are some simple takeaways from this episode that are really, really going to help. So get into that comment section, guys. Let us know that you're watching in live. Or if you do watch this one later on, I'd love to hear in the replay, in the comments, let us know that you've caught up. We're going to be starting this episode in 2 minutes. So to my team, what did you get up to on the weekend? What's the scoop? I got one gym session in myself. This is like the first weekend in a long time where I didn't actually touch a drop of alcohol, which is kind of... Actually, no, I lied. I had one Corona. I do apologize. I had one Corona. It was really weird. I didn't have anything in the house, and Claudia had the car all weekend, so I just didn't have access to any alcohol because I couldn't get any. So it's just, I guess it's a lesson for when you're trying to create habits. One of the simple things that you can do is just not have it on hand. And sometimes that's enough to actually break the habit itself. All right, guys, we're going to get started in 1 minute. This is going to be a big episode, I think, guys. So feel free in the comments. I reckon we should tag a few people if you can. Do me a favor, guys. If you're watching and you're able and you're not driving, tag one other person, 2 other people from the academy. Let's get this popping off because I think this is going to be an episode which should really hit. And I'm going to get started in 30 seconds, guys. All right, who's got into this one? Zachy Denman. Of course, you know this episode's for you, brother. So I hope you get something out of it. Tez, what's going on, mate? Good morning. Kimmy Sawyer's in here. Hello, Kim. I hope you had a beautiful weekend. Trent Barnett, my legend, consistent. Hello, Coach Ez. How are you, darling? I hope you're well. Michelle Richmond, lovely to have your company in here this morning. Ash Sonta, as regular as always on a Monday. Ash, you're like the regular morning poo that keeps showing up at the same time. Sorry, I didn't mean to make that sound bad, but you're regular is the point. So good. I've got a morning mate in here. I can't see who it is, but that's all good. Same as good morning. I hope you guys are good. Yes, tag and Mark Edmondson and Jimmy Norval. Love that. All right, guys, I think we are ready to rock and roll. So, as always, thanks, I think, Ash says, as always, guys, I think these podcast episodes are better if you are commenting along, if you feel there's something relevant for you, or if you agree with a comment. And the reason is because the more that we feed back, it becomes a two-way conversation instead of me talking to you, and I think it's always better that way. All right, let's get stuck into another episode. All right, on the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Welcome back to the Better Body Academy podcast. This is the podcast that you come to when you're sick of the dumb diets and unsustainable workout programs. I hope you guys all had a beautiful weekend. Hopefully you enjoyed some sunshine. Enough for me, of course. But I'm going to be talking in this episode a little bit about self-doubt. And I want to talk about why I'm doing this podcast. I'm doing this podcast because I believe that self-doubt is the number one destroyer of dreams. It's the number one destroyer of dreams, let's face it. And in this podcast, I'm coming from a place of knowing, okay? I never am going to talk about things that I don't feel that I am at least somewhat knowledgeable about. I think, there was a period of time in my life where I projected confidence on the outside, but on the inside, I was absolutely doubting of myself. Is anyone like that? Does anyone sort of have that feeling where they're trying to project that they're confident and maybe it's a bit of a facade, but the reality is on the inside, they're very, very self-doubting. And maybe where that shows up is when you go to a social occasion, for example. Maybe you go to a barbecue and you try to make yourself look good and you turn up and you want to project as if you're feeling strong, but on the inside, you're kind of like very, very self-doubting. So I understand what it feels like to be there. There are periods in my life where self-doubt has absolutely gripped me hard. And it always seems to be when my momentum slows a little bit. Do you feel me? And so in this episode, I want to go deep in self-doubt because I know at least half of you that will watch and listen to this podcast are right in this moment deeply doubting yourself. I'm wondering, will I ever make it? Whatever make it is for you. Okay? The fundamental question, why am I not getting everything I want? I think this is something that I'm always thinking about myself and always thinking about for my clients. Why are my clients not getting everything they want in life? I believe the simple answer to this is self-doubt. And the reason is, if you are afraid of failing, right? What will people think of me? And then interestingly, on the flip side, the exact opposite. You're afraid of success. What will people think of me? Isn't that a weird thing? You can be afraid of failure and you can be afraid of success, and both of them are based in the concept, what will people think of me? What will people think of me when I fall over and I'm stupid and I land on my knees and I can't get up? And what will people think of me, when I'm successful and I'm earning the money that I want and I've got the body that I want and I'm feeling great about myself? Are they going to think that I'm thinking that I'm so far up myself? Does this make sense, guys? Listen, it's human nature to be afraid that we are not enough. I think that's ingrained in us, and probably for a protective reason. We're not enough. We're not good enough. We're not rich enough. We're not happy enough. We're not smart enough. We're not strong enough. We're not motivated enough. So if it's human nature, how do we actually move forward on this? Well, we accept that we'll be scared and we do it anyway. Inside Better Body Academy, if you've been around for a while, you will know about the 5-second rule, which we'll talk about in a moment. But I posted over the weekend what I feel is my greatest skill, and that is consistency. Consistency in showing up for myself, for my family, and for my clients. And whenever I post something in the group, guys, I'm posting that as a reflection, hoping that you can glean some benefit out of it. But let me ask you a question. Do you think that I have times when I ask myself, do I deserve this? Do you think that I have times when I ask myself, am I even good at what I do? Do you think I have times when I say, feel overwhelmed and feel like, should I just give up? Of course, I have these moments. Those moments of self-doubt. But most people, when they feel those things, they stop and they don't show up. And they go into hiding. 2 weeks ago, when I returned back from Europe, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I walked into the gym after having a month off gym training, and I felt like an imposter. Honestly. Walking around the gym, the coach that was nervous being back in the gym, thinking people would judge me. Honestly, that's what happened. And so I'm walking around, and there's a anyone knows about this? It's called dysmorphia. It's when you think that particularly for men, that your body has changed so much in such a short period of time that's actually ridiculous. But it's something that you feel. I felt that, straight up honestly. I felt like when I got down and went into the squat rack or went into the bench rack, people were looking at me thinking like, he's wearing a Better Body Academy shirt and why is he like, how come he's not like the strongest guy in here? I have these same self-doubts. But I know that if I show up 4 days a week, I will override my self-doubt. We've talked in Better Body Academy, guys, many times about procrastination and the 5-second rule. Count back from 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 and act. Why is this rule critical? Because momentum is everything. It is everything. It's literally everything. It takes so much activation energy to take a rocket from the Earth's surface and get it into space. But once that energy has been activated and the rocket is in momentum, Things are easy. This is a great analogy for you right now getting out of bed. You are the rocket ship. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get the fuck up. It's time to shake a leg. Get out of bed and start working on your dreams. When you're in momentum, everything else flows. Do you feel me? Everything else flows. When you're consistent, you stay in momentum. When you stay in momentum, you override your self-doubt. I want to interrupt with a few questions. I want you to think back to a time when you have been in huge momentum, either in life or in business. Think back to a time, work with me guys, the 16 of you watching this live. Think back to a time when you've been in momentum, like get that in your head. Was there any self-doubt when you're in momentum? No, because you had no time for self-doubt because your emotional state was to expect results. The moment you stopped being consistent with what's working, you get out of momentum. The moment you stop doing the things that got you the results in the first place, you get out of momentum and you start to doubt yourself. Now, one of the reasons I'm doing this podcast, guys, is for one of our young lads, Zachy Denman, who's watching this episode. And he sent me a message this morning. It was rather long, but the crust of it was self-doubt. Zach, I am challenging you to question, what have you become inconsistent with that you were consistent with a few months back? Studying the workshops, turning up to Q&A on a Friday, posting daily into your group, getting involved in the messenger squad. They're 4 things that I can see from the outside, mate. Why do we stop doing the things that are working? Here's how it looks. Either we get lazy, not usually, or on a subconscious level, we think we don't deserve the results we've got. Who understands exactly what I mean here? This is where it often ends in self-sabotage. Who feels that? They've got results in life for a period of time, whether it be their body, their relationships, their health, their wealth, their career, it doesn't matter what it is. But some part of them feels a bit undeserved, a bit like a fraud. I was getting results, people were looking up to me and going, wow, how the fuck is he doing this? Or how's she doing this? And then all of a sudden, the results start to stop. Cue the lottery winner that wins $1 million and is broke 2 years later. They got the money by luck, but subconsciously they didn't think they deserved it. And what ends up happening is we self-sabotage. Yeah? We stop showing up for ourselves. We stop being consistent. You do not need to be consistent. Sorry, you do not need to be perfect. You need to be consistent. I always point out Terry Holden, one of our men inside Better Body Academy. Terry has won over the long term. He still loves a beer, still eats out plenty, but he just does the simple things regardless of how he feels. This is the only way you win. And for most people, they quit just before they're about to break through. I want you to think of it like here is like a pen pushing from the inside out of the bubble, and you're just about to break through, and the tension's there in the bubble. It's about to pop, and you're about to come through, and you think, I'm not going to turn up today. And this is why we don't break through. We consistently reach that point where we're just about to do the thing, and we go back into our shell. Why do we go back into our shell? We go back into our shell because on a subconscious level, we don't think we deserve it. So we end up pulling back because we're scared of success. Does it now make sense how you could be sabotaging your own success? I'm not only scared of failure, but I'm scared of success. If I don't stay in my comfort zone, if I don't stay in my lane, I threaten to break through, change my fucking life, then how are people going to judge me? Does that make sense, guys? Listen up. Would you like your life to be different? Do you want something bigger than what's happening now? To think you're going to get new results with the same inconsistency is just kidding ourselves. Maybe you're biggest goal in life right now is to overcome the anxiety you feel. Maybe you want a new job, or maybe you want to lose another 20 kilograms. Whatever the case, in order to get new results, we have to take new actions. That's a fact. We're not going to get new results with the same actions. I heard a phrase the other day which has stuck with me, and I've written down and put it on my wall. What human beings are capable of is amazing. What they usually do is disappointing. Why? Because it means that despite our potential, we're selling ourselves short. We settle for less. Zach, I know that you know exactly what I'm talking about here. We tone down our goals and say, I want that, but I'm just going to settle for that. Fuck that, guys. Why are we doing that? You're capable of massive things. But we do well below it because we're trapped in an emotional state of fear, anxiety, self-doubt. And when you operate from those energies, it's really difficult to achieve the things you want in life. Does that make sense? You can't be powerful when you're whatever it is that you want to achieve. It's not for me to know that, but whatever it is that you want to achieve, you can't be powerful in moving towards that if you're operating from a place of self-doubt, anxiety, fear, questioning yourself. So let me ask you another question. Answer in the comments. What would happen if you were able to act from a place that's not fear, that's not doubt, that's not scarcity? You acted from a place of courage, or happiness, or power, or excitement. Imagine acting from a place of courage. How would that impact your daily results, your daily actions that you take? If instead, coming from this place of anxiety, you were coming from a place of courage, how would that change the result? So let's work backwards. If you want to change the result, we all know that we've got to change what we do, our habits, right? Everyone's quite aware of that. We've got to change our habits. Okay. So how do we change what we do and become consistent? You got to change the emotional state you're in so you're not coming from a place of self-doubt. Instead, you're coming from a place of confidence, of courage, of excitement about what is to come. Let's do a test right now. Are you in a state of power right now? Just do a self-test. Let me know in the comments. Are you in a state of power right now? Or are you in a fuck Monday mindset? There's two polarities. I'm either in a state of power or I'm in a state of fuck Monday mindset. Now, just step back from both of those and just ask yourself, if you're in a fuck Monday mindset, are you going to dominate your Monday? No chance. Because of the emotional state we're in, nothing is going to be bang from that place. If you've woken up today and you're questioning, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? That's not power, and that's not going to allow you to get what you want. So we have to change our emotional state. You want to give you guys the secret? And Nikki Friend says power. Kev says power. You want to get the secret? Here's the secret. And it's one of those things where people are looking for hacks all the time. This is a fucking hack. Okay? You got to change your physical state. No amount of thinking is going to help you think your way out of an emotional state. It doesn't work like that. You have to change your physical state. Emotions that we feel are controlled by hormones, and they have now validated the difference of adopting powerful physical states. Can I quote for you some stats from Tony Robbins, who, working with Harvard University, has found out that standing for 2 minutes in a power pose increased testosterone secretion in men and women by 20%. 20%! 20%! And here we are trying to take a test booster that improves at exactly 0.5%. 20% by adopting a powerful state, a powerful pose. In fact, it reduced cortisol secretion, which, as most of you know, is the stress hormone. It reduced cortisol secretion after just 2 minutes of a powerful state stand by 22%. So testosterone up by 20, cortisol down by 22%. These are the hormones that control your state. And just by adopting a powerful pose, Mikey says, show us your best pose. Well, you know what, Mikey? It's really funny because people take the piss, perhaps, or maybe if they're new to the academy, they might look at the boys inside the men's academy. And by the way, I challenge you to do this, ladies. Terry always starts it, and he calls it Flex Friday, and he gets his shirt off, and he goes, and there's the power, Mike. There's the power. You hold that, your entire fucking state changes. Why do you think that, for the old dudes, Muhammad Ali, and for the younger people, Conor McGregor, the reason that they walk around the way they do is because they're changing their state. And when you change your state, you then come from a place of courage and excitement instead of fuck Monday. Does this make sense, guys? So now let's get practical as we wind this podcast up. How are we going to keep breaking the loop over and over again? Because the reality is what happens is the longer our day goes, we slip back into the old physical states, myself included, 100%. If I'm doing some work and then a message comes through which annoys the shit out of me, I might just all of a sudden go, oh, fuck, are you serious? Not now, and then I'm, right? So what do we do about it? How do we keep ourselves in what Tony Robbins calls a peak state? How do we do it? A simple way to do it is what we teach in the Mastermind program. I wonder how many of the Mastermind guys are still doing this. And that is, you set an alarm on your phone every 2 hours and you call the alarm a question. What state am I in? And you just let that alarm repeat over your waking hours. It'll come up on your phone, and what it will do is interrupt the pattern that you're in. After a while, you'll be like, oh, fine. You know what it is, but it's interrupting the state that you're in, giving you an ability to change your state. And when you change your state, when you get that alarm come through, I want you to try this. I want you to ask yourself in that moment when the alarm goes off, and yep, Erin's still doing it, Trent's still doing it. Okay, great. In that moment when the alarm goes off, I've got the next level for you guys, right? What you want to do is you want to say to yourself, what am I proud of? What am I proud of? You might have lost, Trent, close to 40 kilograms. You become a coach, Ez. The 5K run that you did, fighting a teenage pregnancy, overcoming your trauma, squatting 100 kilograms. What's something you're proud of? Hold that in your mind for 30 seconds to a minute and watch what it does to your emotions and changes your physical state. And then you go back into your day and watch what happens. It's like a gym workout that you're training yourself to use your emotions like a muscle. Does this make sense? And it's not very hard to do. Guys, if I could go on forever on this, but I don't want to complicate it too much. If you can do one thing as a result of this podcast episode, set a pattern breaker alarm. Okay? Every 2 hours, repeats on your phone, and it just asks you the question, what are you proud of? What am I proud of? What that is going to do is cause you to correct or change your state. And when you correct or change your state, you will eventually be spending more time in power mode than fuck Monday mode. And when you're in more time in power mode, guys, before I do any podcast episode, like I don't just turn the microphone, I think to myself, how can I deliver the energy here? How can I get into state? I get into state. You have to get into state if you want to overcome your self-doubt. The reason you're in self-doubt is because you're operating from a state of fear, anxiety, pain, trepidation, whatever it is. So we don't need to overcomplicate this. Just look at it from a common sense perspective. Hang on, if I want better results, I better change the state that I'm in. Self-doubt is created when you say you're going to do something and then you stop doing it. It's not because you don't want results. Clearly you want results. It's because you're unable to hold that emotional state to remain in messy momentum. So the fix is to just keep pressing reset on your state. Does this make sense? Guys, on a Monday morning, you can decide to change your entire week. You can change your entire week by deciding, I'm going to give this a shot. I'm going to put this on my alarm and I am going to control my state this week. And when I lose control, and you will, and I will, I'll be reminded in a maximum of 2 hours to correct it. And watch what keeps happening. In fact, I guarantee you that this will happen. You will be just about to react to something, be it your daughter, which is what's happening to me at the moment, or it'll be something at work or something on public transport, and the alarm will go off. And it will say, what state am I in? And you'll read it and you'll go, huh. And it will save you from going down a doom loop that would have controlled your entire day. Guys, this is how we get results. I hope this has been beneficial, this podcast episode. Of course, I'll be back multiple times during the course of this week. I'm super, super pumped about this run up to Christmas. And on a macro level, guys, the worst possible thing you can do is decide to have a break at Christmas. Hey, we don't need to operate as quick. We can enjoy some beers. We can enjoy some good food. In fact, I'm going to be doing that with you, hopefully. But just don't get out of momentum. It takes so long for the rocket ship to finally get into orbit. You're doing yourself an injustice to get out of complete momentum and stop doing the things that have worked right to this point. Guys, this has been the Better Body Academy podcast, the podcast that you come to when you're sick of the dumb diets, unsustainable workout programs. Happy Monday or end to your Sunday. I'll see you guys through the week.